This is Pivot Point. I'm Nick Michael. My guest today is Jen Wilson, an executive and team coach who has spent over 25 years helping leaders and organizations navigate growth, uncertainty, and change. She steps into rooms where the trust is fragile, stakes are high, and the old way isn't working anymore, and helps people find clarity, reconnect with their values, and choose a different way forward. During times of organizational disruption, trust is often strained. What does rebuilding trust actually require beyond communication alone that you've noticed?
So trust is when trust is broken. There, I have a view on this that could be unpopular. Oh, but you can't pay anyone millions of dollars to come in and do a bunch of workshops on trust. It's not going to rebuild trust. Trust gets rebuilt in action. And that the way I've seen trust get rebuilt is when you have a team that is, number one, committed to the same outcome. Number two, willing to do the work. And it's not just the work of like showing up to the meetings, but it's that internal work that's required. Because and you know this from the work you do, like we bring our whole selves. As much as we say like we separate it, we can't separate it, right? We can't, because we're whole people that are showing up to work. So I think when teams are willing to go that extra, to take those steps around, okay, to be able to do, and I have some assessments I use that become about the team. Like, let's look at the team dynamic. And sometimes that's really helpful because it's not very personal initially, but then it's willingness to look at it. So it's this sort of willingness to be like, I may not be fully right. So for me, that's part of the first building blocks, is being able to create that actual common language. The next is really how we speak with each other and interact with each other, and how brave we can be to have courageous conversations with each other. Right? And then thirdly, there's structural things like how meetings are used. I mean, these are very concrete. We have meetings, but I cannot tell you how many times I go in and I'll have conversations with leaders and teams. They'll tell me, well, we have these certain cadence of meetings, and I'll ask, what do you do with them? And really, even me, who's like an talker and I love being in conversation, half of those meetings could be an email. So how are we really using our time together? And so these are some concrete things, but everything starts with the individual. We have to work with not just the individual, but the group at the same time.
So well said. It's very impressive, the kind of work that you're doing. I'm in awe right now. I'm curious about many leaders, from what I know, intellectually, they understand what needs to change, but they struggle to execute it. So what typically gets in the way? What if emotion, fear, system itself, or what gets in the way for some leaders?
Yeah. So I think there's many like practical things, because I think the component of working with organizations is the organizational structure. So you have the individual, you have the teams, and the community, and then you have the structure. But there's this other thing that's come up that I've noticed. So and I'll share an example. I coach somebody who is a partner at a big firm, and they super successful, like really successful, wonderful, wonderful person. And it's been interesting as we've been coaching around their next step in their career, because they want this thing. And one of the things I'm realizing after all this time is that there's this fear. There's a little bit of fear about really being seen. And also this fear of failure. And so you kind of see these things walk hand in hand sometimes. This fear of failing, and then the fear of being seen. And so it's an interesting thing. And I'm sure there's leaders that'll be listening going, Jen, that's not the case. But I would challenge it, because when we slow down, when we have an opportunity to really, really slow down, a lot of the work that I get to do, that is the quiet thought. So it's that quiet, I call them the 3 a.m. thoughts. Those ones that when you wake up, and I know it because I felt it. It's that panic of like, am I going to be able to keep up with this? Especially when you lead big teams and you feel like everyone's depending on you. That's that part. So those are some of the things, that this sort of fear of success and this fear of failure that often hold tension